It's Wednesday. Let's have a spat. Sara Gonzales.
I'm about to.
Are you in a mood?
I am now.
You are now?
Yeah.
Golly.
Oh, I had to deal
This is why, listen.
Work husbands are no different. Let me just tell you.
Work wives ain't no effing peach either. Good Lord have mercy.
I wore my nice boots for you, and
Did
all I
you?
get is nothing in return. Well, maybe they weren't for you.
Maybe
Maybe they were
for,
well,
bitch?
they just maybe they were just because I got these cute new boots and I can't show them on my show because you can't see them. And
I saw you out with your husband the other night, and I think you were wearing the same boots. So
Yeah.
who was it going to be? What's the deal?
I mean,
The guy you live with, probably.
Yeah, just
Oh, Sara. Fun stuff. It is fun stuff.
I guess. Okay, all right, yes, sir.
I was thinking about you on the way to the studio today, which
you were.
is typically I'm always thinking about you. And I ran across that tweet that you posted where you were talking about, or the guy, the guys, they respond to you about how anytime you send your followers after people.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
That drives me nuts. Yeah.
And I'm like, she doesn't send, and I just responded. I said,
Yeah.
she doesn't send her followers. She just has followers.
Right.
Something you don't have.
Right.
And when they see you post, they're going to comment.
Yeah.
That's like putting a banana down your pants and not expecting the monkey to kick your ass.
Right. No, it's hilarious that like they think that if someone has a blue check mark, they're either not allowed to respond, right? You can insult them as much as you want, but they somehow can't respond. If they do, then it's the problem is them and not you. And then if they respond by quote tweeting you just to show your ignorance because it's amusing, then you're sicking your people on them.
After I made that comment, the guy commented back. He said, okay, whatever, simp.
Yeah.
What does simp stand for again, Brandon? You don't know. I figured to ask the youngest guy in the room.
Yeah. It's not appropriate to say. Yeah.
It's something, a P word. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's...
But what is the S? I can't remember the SI. Sydney Watson taught me this stuff.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten it already.
Actually, she's the one who taught me too.
Yeah.
But it's basically like you just want me, and that's why you're defending me. You're white knighting me.
I didn't respond back to the guy because he ain't wrong. I'm like, whatevs.
You proud to be a Sara simp?
I'm a Sara simp. Can we make that shirt, for crying out loud? It's hump day. We're talking about simping. Yeah, anyway, Mark, the puppet master, Chris Cruz, Super Chris Cruz, and Let's Love Brandon, all at the helm, driving us into the nether regions of domestic dispute. Did you hear that story? I want to get caught up on some things first of all. Let's just talk.
Okay.
All right, let's just work out our counseling issues.
Yeah, please.
So the reason we're busting each other's balls, for those of you who don't know, is we started a new sketch comedy group. We call it Broken Drum because you can't beat it. Anyway, and so we put out a video, and when you have a room full of creatives and ideas, you bicker back and forth about what should be kept, what should be, tossed, what deals you should use. And so anyway, Sara just likes to, have problems.
As most women do.
And I was like, and I'm a dude, so I'm like, calm down, dear.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you can say.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Which but you say it anyway.
Especially for a Mexican.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chad doesn't like that I tend to talk a lot.
Oh, no, that's not true at all.
Oh.
That's not true at all. The difference, though, is your actual husband doesn't talk a lot.
No.
Right?
No.
And I do.
Yeah.
So, it's a weird spy versus spy thing going on, like yin yang,
The two
sort of
two type
symbiotic.
A's here. Yeah.
I love our little chats. Anyway, we were talking about the cop on a show earlier in the week in San Francisco. Did you see this story? He got caught. He went for a domestic dispute, and he goes into the kitchen. He sees the daughter. I don't know if there was like a relationship between him and the daughter. The daughter was like 23 in the home.
Okay.
Weird story.
I haven't.
He starts masturbating.
Oh, I did.
And then the dad comes in. They make eye contact,
Yeah. As you do when you walk in someone's kitchen and start masturbating.
Walkie in the kitchen.
What was the daughter doing?
I don't know, but that's a weird way to bust up a domestic dispute, right?
Okay, but did they stop hitting each other? That's what I want to know.
I mean, I would stop at that point in time.
You can't blame the cop
why
for
hit
getting
your
creative.
wife when the cop's beating himself?
Yeah, you can't blame the cop for getting creative. These are just creative strategies. Look, I know a lot of police officers are worried about using force. This was just his creative way to not use force.
I've heard of government officials using sleight of hand, but damn, bruh. He's abusing a lot of things with that badge. Anyway, that's what we need to bust up this domestic dispute that we have.
It would stop me talking.
I am excited about the new project.
I am really excited
like it. It's a lot
it.
of fun.
Yeah.
Alex Stein, Cassidy Campbell, and of course Brett Rogers, who is our videographer and producer, and having fun with it. It's a good little outlet in a little 2-minute, politically incorrect clips about what's going on in current trends.
The current administration has given us no lack of content. It's
true.
Basically everything that comes from them is just a gold mine. And you're not going to find it on SNL.
I want to segue like this. I've been looking forward to you coming in because this is going to be a good little therapeutic session. Okay. I want to talk about this Sports Illustrated. You're fat, so I want to talk about this Sports Illustrated thing.
Wait, what?
And the new cover, Yumi Nu, is the model, and it's breast milk. It's not real. You're not really fat. You're just still lactating. So she's a plus size model. Let's just be nice. There she is. You can see her on the screen. And she was surprised. They're always surprised when they get a cover shot.
Oh, I'm
right?
sure.
And there's a lot of people.
I would be surprised if I were her as well.
Who are going to respond to this. The headline says, New York Post, Yumi Nu shaking over SI swimsuit cover reveal.
No, that's just the ground when she walks.
That's a weird way. Like that opens up way too many jokes.
Yes.
Is she jiggling? Is she shaking? Now, I look at her face and I think, obviously, she's a pretty woman. She's a beautiful woman. And if you want to have a plus size model, that's one thing. But this is Sports Illustrated. Right. This is the same company that puts out the Body issue every year with naked athletes to show the physical athletic form, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's hypocritical.
Extremely.
A lot of people are saying things that it's fat shaming, which I'm tired of that phrase. That's dumb.
Well, first of all, you should feel a little bit ashamed if you're fat because you're not healthy.
You're
not because you're ugly. I don't think being fat means ugly, but like you should want to be healthy. Now,
Jordan Peterson, which I'll catch hell for saying this. I don't quite understand the fascination with Jordan Peterson. It doesn't mean I don't like Jordan Peterson. I've read his books and I listen to him from time to time. I will listen to him talk, and it sounds like Yoda using a big word. But have you ever heard how like he's like, so I will take the control of the teleprompter, and it's much like life, how you just twist it and turn it, and thousands of people show up.
Yeah,
listen, talk about turning the joystick. And
doesn't it make you wonder, like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I could get up there and say that.
I'm like, he just takes any random word and builds some life philosophy out of it.
If you know the right words, you can make anything sound really smart.
Yeah. Unlike the press secretary, which we'll talk about that later on.
Yes.
But so Jordan Peterson, he didn't delete his Twitter, but he logged out of it and told his staff not to let him know the password. Because he caught so much hate because he tweeted something that I don't agree with when he said not beautiful, and he goes on this thing about it. Actually, let me read the tweet to you because it's on the screen there. He said,
sorry, not beautiful.
Yeah.
And no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that.
Okay. So I understand what he's saying.
Right.
And
was
again,
not phrased well.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Correct.
So to say not beautiful, I don't know. I've always been of the philosophy that men would have far easier lives if they could reconcile what they think looks good with what they know feels good.
Yeah.
Like, that's a comfortable woman right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Historically speaking,
that's a great point.
Like the 1800s, overweight women, that was the way to be. Look at the statues.
Right. Yeah. Well, they were that indicated that they were
women,
they were rich, they were well fed.
Right. Yeah. That was a sign of being, economically well off.
Yeah.
Right. You came from status.
Right.
But we also know that the health standards of 1859 and 2022, like they can actually they can put EKG stuff on here and see the calcium in the arteries around my heart. So we know things like HDL and LDL and triglycerides.
Yeah.
We know about diabetes.
Right.
We know about vitamin deficiencies. All of these various things.
We know that if you get heart disease, it costs a lot of money, and we're all sharing in this wonderful Obamacare system that they've created for us. So we should all have some sort of an interest in it.
I know very well that belly fat contributes to heart disease. It contributes to diabetes. It contributes to cancer, all of these various things. So when you put that on the cover of Sports Illustrated, you're not allowed to call it out because, again, this is not about fat shaming. We've created a bully culture.
Yeah.
And so everybody's anti-bully to the point where you can't say anything truthful at all anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that Jordan Peterson probably didn't phrase that. It's not something that I agree with. I wouldn't say that it's not beautiful, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be controversial to say Sports Illustrated should be for like very fit athletes who have something to like share.
Like if I read a cycling magazine.
Right. You're not going to find me on it.
I want to see a cyclist.
Right.
I want to see somebody who knows something about cycling, right?
Is she just a plus size model? Like she's not an athlete, right? She's not. She doesn't play sports. That's what I'm saying.
Which none of the Sports Illustrated never have this. I mean, maybe like Gabriella Reese.
Yeah.
I think she was in Gabby Reese, who was beach volleyball. I think maybe she was in a Sports Illustrated deal. I know she was in Playboy. I can tell you Playboy way quicker than I can tell you.
Chad's like, let me paint that picture for you right now.
But Elle Macpherson, who was, of course, a very famous Sports Illustrated model, also in Playboy, you got to graduate up, got to go higher. But, you go back to these models that are on there, and basically it's a way to sell swimsuits, okay? It's because they always put the maker and the designer and the price and where you can get the swimsuit and things like that, who they're wearing.
As if average American women are like, yes, I'm going to buy that $500 swimsuit.
And it's going to make me look like Kathy Ireland. Yeah, I know. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And now you're buying Kathy Ireland's furniture at Rooms to Go. Again, you're moving on up. So I look at all this stuff and I'm like, what are we pushing here with this thing? And most people say, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Not going to read it. But it does matter because if this is the narrative, I was on Chris Salcedo's show this morning and we were talking about how words and language, you got kids that are being expelled from school for misgendering other 8th graders. Yeah. So if words matter, well, the things that are being perpetuated in culture, they matter too, right? Because this is what we start to accept as societal norms. Now, again, that's not to say we should eliminate fat people from our culture. That's not what I'm saying. But we should stop glorifying unhealthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And saying, okay, this is what you're supposed to emulate and be like.
Right.
I don't think that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, I don't think that they would consider having someone like snorting a line of Coke on the front of their magazine. That's also an unhealthy lifestyle. It's unhealthy. Right? Like, so I don't like you wouldn't be glorifying any of these other unhealthy lifestyles.
You wouldn't have somebody smoking a cigarette. I mean, they don't even put smoking cigarettes in unless it's a period piece. People don't even smoke cigarettes in movies anymore. Right? I mean, you can't even advertise cigarettes in Canada, and it's pretty taboo to have anything like that in America.
Yeah, I know. So, like, why is this the only one that they feel like they can glorify? And you have to be shunned if you point out the fact that this is not, in fact, healthy.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that they're telling us that it's beautiful, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, whatever. They're still also saying this is healthy. Wasn't it Cosmopolitan magazine who they had a big, large, obese woman in like a yoga suit that said like, this is healthy.
Yeah. No, but they did do that. Where they said it was. I'm going to go to a break because I want to keep talking about this.
Yeah.
because I think it's culturally relevant. I think it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah.
And I like having it with you because I love you very much.
Even though I'm fat, thanks.
You are fat. God, if everybody could be that fat. You know what's in that bottle of wine that's sitting on your kitchen counter, you barbarians? Traditional media will not tell you what's in that wine. Well, I'll tell you. Oak flavoring, mega purple dye, tons of sugar. That's not counting all the chemicals left over from the vineyards that look more like oil refineries than the great chateaus of old. But better wines do exist, folks. They don't cost you an arm and a leg either. Take it from America's top wine explorer. Recently, he came across a wine unlike anything he's ever tasted. Only problem is it's in an isolated corridor known as the world's most remote wine valley. He almost died twice trying to find these vineyards. It's a very special wine. I want you to give it a try. That's right. It is from South America, Bonner Private Wines. I'm going to get my audience these rare wines at half the retail price. You don't need a promo code. You're going to get 50% off shipping as well. It's a special wine. Supplies are limited. BonnerWines.com/Chad. Go get that wine. BonnerPrivateWines.com/Chad. It's also healthy. Love you. Be right back. So, the bully culture, that's what I want to talk about. That, to me, you face it on a daily basis online. I mean, I do too. People come at you and they...
You mean from the tolerant left?
Yeah.
The ones who have, peace and love in their bios?
So much. Everyone, let's clear this up. Social media frustrates me in that everybody individualizes things to make they communicate in such a way that they're the only ones has ever experienced that. Like if you say something about COVID, you make a joke about masks, you don't know what it's like to lose someone.
Right.
Oh, I guess COVID was isolated to your family. Right. Or I had a guy today who said, people are people are having a hard time with this baby formula thing. How can you make fun of this?
No.
Oh, yeah. There was a lady, I made the comment on a video on earlier this week, and we posted the clip on social media where I said, y'all are going to come at us and say, oh, you don't want to feed babies down at the border. You're talking about taking away the formula down at the border. We did a whole clip about how y'all were going to do it. I'm like, you didn't even watch the video. You just commented on the podcast title. And so, again, people individualize these things.
Right.
Let's be real clear.
It's like when you talk about public school teachers, and a teacher will say, that's not true.
That's not true. No,
I'm a teacher, and I'm not doing that.
Right. It's not true of you.
Right.
Yet. But let's just be clear. Everybody's been bullied.
Yeah.
Everybody has had physical things, whether they were overweight. I say I'm fat 200 times a day.
You do. That's not even an exaggeration.
I mean,
every day I'm like, no, you're not. Stop.
Look at this. It drives me crazy. I'm 49 years old. 49. I'm half 100. And I'm like, it just drives me crazy because it's harder and harder to lose belly fat. My weight for the last 10 years has done this.
You're bullying yourself.
Yeah.
But don't you think too that the term bullying is now overused?
100%. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
I hate the idea that everybody gets to say, oh, you're fat shaming, or you're a transphobe, or you're a homophobe. Again, it's all about bullying culture. I talk about this in my book, Am I Crazy?, over and over again, about how everybody wants to be a victim. They manufacture oppression.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Because you said everybody is bullied. And I wouldn't agree that
has been bullied.
Everybody.
In some form or fashion.
With the current definition of bully, right? Because I think what some things that people say that they have been bullied about. I mean, I'll give you an example that obviously doesn't apply to adults, but like my 9-year-old will come home and say, well, so-and-so is bullying me. And I'm like, well, what did they say? And he's like, they said that my picture wasn't good, and I'm like, okay, that's not bullying. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're using this very loose definition of bullying and applying it to everything anytime someone says something that we don't like. And I'm not sure that I would count that as bullying.
Well, when I was in, say, elementary school, you're whatever, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, and there's always that kid that's 14.
Right.
Who just can't get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you used to say, well, he's a bully.
Right.
He just likes to pick on the littler kids.
Right.
And you had that. And the thing was you stand up to him, face him, punch him in the nose.
Right.
And it does work.
Yeah.
It does work. But bullying, this like online bullying.
Right.
My buddy Spencer James has a great comedy bit about how you get over online bullying. And he takes his finger and he turns off the computer.
Yeah.
And of course, when he does that, I've shared that clip before and people just lose their minds. It's not that easy. Okay. But when you, so I was on Andrew Chapato's show this morning. We recorded for his podcast, Rebel News, which is a great show out of Canada. And he said, my buddies were kind of going, just say the word fat underneath this Sports Illustrated post and watch what will happen.
Yeah.
Just one word, fat.
Right.
You can't these days. Like
No.
you can't.
I said,
Am I overreacting on this thing?
You're not.
When I talk about...
No. I would say I would amend what you're saying by saying we don't have a bully culture. We have a glorification of bullying culture, right? Because everyone wants to be bullied.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that everyone, it's not that everyone is bullying each other, it's that everyone wants to be bullied. I mean, take for instance the girl who I sent you her weird email that she ended up harassing me, right? So her entire accusation was that I had written transgenderism is a mental illness on my tweet. She don't know who this girl is, total stranger to me, right? She responded, as did a lot of people. She responded that she was going to get a bunch of people to mass report my tweet so that they could get me in trouble with Twitter. I quote tweeted her with like some sort of a snappy comeback, and she blocked me. I screenshotted that she blocked me, and then she sent an email to like all of my family members, accusing me of bullying and harassment, and I'm bullying trans people, and I'm bullying and harassing her, and she's gonna talk to the authorities and all this stuff. And I'm like, wait, what? What the hell just happened? Yeah. You're literally harassing me, and you're accusing me of online harassment.
And threw me into the mix too.
Yes, because
emailed the people here at Blaze. Sent emails to your in-laws for crying out loud. I'm like, that. I texted you. I was like, that's actual harassment.
Right.
I mean, your father-in-law's going, who the hell is this? What is this?
What?
Why is this coming to us?
Yeah. So it's not bullying when you come to me and say something and you don't like the response back. Now I'm a bully.
So back to your point in the last segment. If you have the blue check, if you're verified, if you're somebody, I guess, based on the big tech standards, and you say something back, like sometimes I want to respond and I'll think, what would Glenn Beck do? Would Glenn say anything? Does Glenn even know these comments exist? No. Right? He doesn't.
No.
Glenn doesn't even have a cell phone.
No.
So I'm like, but I can't help myself.
Oh, me either.
I still, I'm not Glenn Beck.
I also don't.
A million miles from it.
Glenn, I obviously is amazing and one of my mentors, and I love him dearly, but he and I differ on the idea that I'm just kind of done turning the other cheek and trying to find common ground. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm done with these people. They don't respect me. They never will. They literally hate us and wish that we didn't exist. Right. So I'm not. I don't care to, respect, trying to keep anyone from going after them and, online. It's like, who cares? Yeah. They came at me first. I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah, but I do. It crosses my mind. I'm like, with somebody, but again, I'm nobody in the grand scheme of things. But if you respond back, people, of course, they're going to read emotion into what you say. I mean, I literally responded to the guy. I said, she's not sending followers after you. She just has followers. Right. You don't have them. Right. You don't know what that's like. Right. So this is the result.
Right.
People always come at me on Facebook and they're like, your followers are so filled with hate. Are they my followers? I don't know. I don't know who that person is that commented on your thing.
Right. They could have come from anywhere.
I mean, there's literally millions of people who interact with my social media at any given time on any given day. I'm not vetting every single one of them.
I also can't tell you how many hate followers that I have. I was like, they're not really my followers. They follow me so that they can shit on every post that I make. Like, they're just trolls. So just because they're responding doesn't mean I have anything to do with them.
Well, I'll tell you something that's got to end, because I feel bullied on this whole being bald as well as fat. The UK has now said that calling a man bald is now considered sexual harassment.
What?
Which head are they talking about?
Wait, sexual harassment?
Yeah, sexual harassment.
What does it have to do with
sex? It's a derogatory manner. It's can be classified as sexual harassment. Yeah, they started testifying on their own. These guys testified their personal experiences with hair loss. Since it's more prevalent in men than women. They were
sexual harassment.
I mean, look at this right here. Look at this. Look at that spot right there.
Wow.
I don't know. I should at least what little bit of hair
calling
I got.
HR.
Look at that right there. Now, see, this is where Chris and those guys will take a screenshot of this and try to make a thing out of it, because they're assholes. And I'm going to sue them for sexual harassment.
Good, as you should, Chad.
There it is. Bam. I don't really care. Chicks dig it.
I was going to say, a lot of women they're into bald guys.
I don't want to be anyone's fetish.
Well,
maybe I do.
But I'm just saying, you wouldn't automatically assume that that's some sort of a sexual harassment.
No. I mean, who gives a rat's ass?
That is so weird.
I mean, look, I'm 50 years old, basically. People are like, well, dad bods are in. No, not really. No woman wants to run her fingers through the hair on a man's back. I mean, it's just not.
I don't know. I disagree with that.
You're weird. You're weird. But I like
a man's man.
Again, that right there, that is as stupid as the whole thing with the Sports Illustrated thing. Just let it go.
And it'll be here in a few years. We're making we'll make light of it now because it's in the UK. Don't worry, it'll be here.
Yeah. No, and people say, well, you wear a cowboy hat to cover up because you're bald. I'm like, no, I wear a cowboy hat because I like cowboy hats.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, you've been wearing a cowboy hat forever.
Trigger the shit out of people and give them more reason to come at me.
Yeah.
Right? It helps the algorithms, people. Hey, if you're tired of being sexually harassed for your baldness, hair loss can be tough. You see it in your pictures, your barber points it out, and now you're shopping for baseball caps or cowboy hats. What are you going to do about it? You going to sue them? No. You going to buzz cut it? Shave it? No. You're going to save it with Keeps. Keeps has clinically proven FDA-approved hair treatments available online, whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or take care of the hair you have. Keeps physicians will help you select the right products and develop a personalized hair-saving routine that works for you. It's easy. No waiting rooms or pharmacy visits. Keeps is delivered straight to your door at about half the cost. And you'll get your hair back. If you have questions, you can message your Keeps doctors 24/7. The balding jokes, the sexual harassment, all of it wearing thin. Join thousands of guys who have saved their hair. Visit keeps.com/loss. They give you 50% off your first order. That's KEEPS.com/loss. Keeps.com/loss. And we'll be back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Juicy episode here. Get serious for a minute. Folks, despite the hype, life isn't always filled entirely with fun and games. I want to caution you as we step gingerly over the police tape that surrounds today's story. This one's a little rough to deal with, especially if you happen to be a parent, and most especially if you happen to be the parent of daughters. That's right. I want to talk to you today about sex trafficking and a family right here in Texas that went through it. And you'll notice that I'm not going to give you anyone in that family's name. There's your first clue that this isn't a pretty situation. Now, imagine with me that you're at a stadium with your 15-year-old daughter. You're watching a basketball game. She gets up to go to the bathroom. You stay and keep watching the game. After all, she's 15. She's old enough at this point to handle going to the restroom and finding her way back, one would assume. Sure, she's 15, so she thinks she's more grown up than she actually is, but she's old enough for you to cut the apron strings just a little bit, okay? So you keep watching the game, but then after a while, you notice that she hasn't come back yet. In fact, she doesn't come back at all. You came to this game with a daughter, but you're leaving with no daughter, and unbeknownst to you, at least for now, she's already being transported against her will to another state where over the next couple of weeks before the cops find her, she will be prostituted out in a hotel room. That's the situation that a Texas father found himself in and that his daughter found herself in just last month. Now, when the man's daughter didn't come back after leaving to go to the bathroom, he immediately got a hold of the police and the officials at the American Airlines Center, which is in Dallas. They were watching the Mavericks play, and he let them know that his daughter was missing. They searched until the end of the game, not finding her, and then told the father to go home. Again, if you're a parent, it's right about here that the terror begins to sink into the pit of your stomach. Over the next several days, this family called the police department there in Dallas, trying to get them more involved in what increasingly seemed to them like a kidnapping situation. The police, meanwhile, did not open an investigation. And why? Because missing juveniles are investigated as runaways unless it appears that they have indeed been kidnapped. And I know what you're thinking. What about security footage? Well, good on you for watching so much CSI. Yeah, the security footage showed her leaving with a man. Eventually, the family had to go with a nonprofit organization, the Texas Counter Trafficking Initiative, and thank God for them because they're the ones who found her in a hotel in Oklahoma City, not the police. Now, I think you know how I feel about the police in general. I have the greatest respect for those who serve and protect us. You know that. And let me also say that I understand that 15-year-old girls running away is probably a common enough occurrence that it would make sense for a police officer's intuition to point in that direction first. However, I can't help point out when I think the police have been in error, and it sure seems like they were in error here. It sure seems like they might have been able to spare this family and this girl in particular an awful lot of heartache. Sex trafficking, folks, is real. It is a massive blight on our society that's so under the radar of most people, we don't even realize how bad it is. You know that there are more slaves owned in the world today than there were before the Civil War. Do you know that? Parents, I'm not saying keep your kids on a leash, but please be aware of where they're at, especially when you're in a huge space filled with tens of thousands of people. And as for the police, maybe you should be investigating cases like this a little bit harder before you just determine it's a runaway. And finally, why in the hell wouldn't you try to really damn hard to get a 15-year-old runaway back in the first place? So come on, folks. We can do better than this. The police have enough BS shade thrown at them for supposedly being systemically racist. Let's not add something real to complain about. Protect your kids, folks. It's a mean world out there. It's a scary, scary story.
Yes.
And I think, it can happen anywhere. When you have Houston and Dallas as the 1 and 2 cities in America for sex trafficking.
They're hubs.
They're the hubs, that I-45 corridor. It's scary.
Get them straight out of town. It really is. I think a lot of people, because like you were saying, no one talks about it, and a lot of people don't realize that it's such a problem. People think I'm so overprotective, and I'm just like, you guys don't understand. I could let my son go to the bathroom at a restaurant and never see him again if I'm not careful.
I'm at a point now where, depending on the situation, if I'm with friends or whatever and their kids are there, like if they have a son or whatever, it's like, okay, I'll keep an eye and watch and walk, and I'll stand outside the bathroom and make sure. Or, even when my own kids, as they were growing up, even as teenagers, they still don't let. They never would. If we were in Walmart, one of them needed to go to the restroom. Pretty much the whole gang followed and did the whole thing. And you say, well, that's overreaction. Well, okay.
Yeah, I'll take that criticism.
I don't.
I'd
mind.
rather you call me overprotective than have my son end up missing and human trafficked.
Yeah.
So.
And this is bad. Especially here in Texas with the cartels and the various things, which again, you can't just isolate that to Texas. This is all over the country in a situation like that. So I hate what this family went through.
Yeah.
And again, it does put law enforcement in a hard spot, to know what are we looking at here. You get so many frivolous things that come your way. What are you dealing with on a situation like that? But I'm glad she was brought home. Yeah. But
doesn't always end that way.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is spend 15 minutes with Yakubuyans and you'll find out real quick. Or Craig Sawyer and those guys that are actively on the front lines, working to fight this kind of thing. Yeah. That's in a whole. Again, these are real issues going on in the world, not the cover of Sports Illustrated. Not baldness in the UK.
Speak for yourself. There are a lot of men over there that have been sexually harassed.
There are a lot of bald men in Britain. But that's real oppression. That's real victimization.
Yeah.
That's why I really have a hard time, though. I just have a hard time. I've seen some things in the world, I mean, around the world. I've seen some crazy things, and I've seen some real persecution. Mm-hmm. So the stuff we claim to have here in America, sheesh.
Well, even just, we're talking about all of the problems because of the border and how easy it is for them to get back and forth. Like, you would think if anyone cared about human suffering or oppression, they would close the freaking border yesterday.
Yeah.
They're creating the situation. They're ripening this entire situation just so that things like this can happen. That sex trafficking can be at an all-time high. Human trafficking can be at an all-time high. Drugs trafficking can be at an all-time high.
Well, if you feel oppressed and offended by being misgendered or people assuming your gender or thinking you're a man or a woman or just any of these things, if that insults you, wait till people from other countries and cultures start showing up here with no desire whatsoever to assimilate into the American lifestyle. Yeah. I promise you, they don't give a rat's ass, and they're going to treat you. Want to see how women get treated in the rest of the world? Gays.
I love what you're saying, Chad, because all of these people who want all of these new voters, this diverse country, let me just tell you, the Hispanics that are coming over across the border, they don't want to be called Latinx. They don't want to be called Latinx. And they certainly are not going to accept your pronouns.
No, they do not.
They're not going to do that.
Politically charged times, folks. We conservatives need to vote with our dollars. I love Minutemen Coffee. They're the coffee for American patriots. Constitutionally based, family-owned company, steadfast in their belief that freedom-loving Americans deserve products from companies that share their beliefs without fear of cancellation or retaliation from the woke mob. Minutemen Coffee believes in your constitutional rights. They put their money where their mouth is. They send you a copy of the Constitution with every order so you can bring this important conversation to your coffee table. Educate the next generation of constitutional patriots. Amazing coffee, small batch, handcrafted from family farms across the globe, roasted to perfection, delivered fresh to you. I've tasted a lot of coffee in my life, but Minutemen Coffee hits the mark when it comes to taste and aroma. I'm sure you will love it as much as I do. Plus, with Minutemen Coffee, you're going to get a full pound of coffee for less than most companies would charge you for just a cup of coffee. Minutemen Coffee has a special going. If you buy 3 bags of their Heritage Roast, they're going to add Trader Joe to your cart for free, and they're going to put on free shipping as well. So go check them out, Minutemen Coffee. If you want a different offer, use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. MinutemenCoffee.com. Join the revolution. Wake up without going woke. We'll be right back. Earlier in the week, we talked about the baby formula shortage.
There's also a baby shortage.
Yeah. Well, this sex strike keeps going on. There may be a baby shortage. But the Biden administration, we said that they knew at the beginning of the year about this. Now we realize that they knew about the baby formula shortage last year. They've known about this issue for a long time. So again, why they gotta hate on babies so much? Anyway, we need the MAGA king. We need the ultra MAGA king.
Do you think, will Joe Biden go down as the worst?
100%. He already,
the worst. I don't know
that ultra MAGA thing. The ultra MAGA thing. You know what they now have come out with? That they were planning that for 6 months.
Yeah.
They've been working on that little phrase. WatchChad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. Do we have a montage for that? Play it.
I don't want to hear Republicans talk about deficits and their ultra MAGA agenda. The other path is the ultra MAGA plan put forward by congressional Republicans. Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king, the deficit increased every single year he was president.
Do you not think we're going to run with that?
Nothing makes me want to vote for Donald Trump again more.
I have created T-shirts for the last week. You know how much money I've made?
I have to have one of those, by the way. They are so awesome.
The great MAGA king.
That is
Donald Trump on Truth Social had a response to that. And he said, the great MAGA king is the name Joe Biden is now using to describe me. Thank you, Joe. Make America great again. The great MAGA king.
I mean, you don't even have to, Trump doesn't even have to pay someone to tell him
Oh no, it's
how to campaign.
Just keep
They're
writing
just
the jokes.
doing it for us.
They're idiots.
I know.
That's what wokeism gets you. They're idiots. Okay. There were so many things I wanted to talk about more today. American Beauty by Sara.
Yeah.
They should put that on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
They should.
American Beauty by
that.
Sara. There's no H in Sara, by the way.
Correct.
.com.
.com.
All of your makeup needs.
Stop giving your
Wants,
money
desires.
to people who hate you.
So we talked about that. Minute Men Coffee, of course. These various sponsors. We got Parallel Economy. You're doing it.
Yeah. Putting
You're
my money
doing it.
where my mouth is.
And it's real. It's legit. You're
Yes.
building a great business.
Appreciate that.
And I hear people all the time who'll say, well, they're using it. I mean, I've got friends, I'll be in a group of people and they're talking about using your stuff. So keep on keeping on with that.
I use it. I'm obsessed with makeup, as you know. I'm very, very picky.
You painted hooker.
I'm my Jezebel. I'm very picky about my makeup. And I was like, I will not put my name to something that I do not want to use myself.
Right.
And so
Well, it's like like they called you on Twitter the other day. You're a spicy bitch.
Yeah, I am a spicy bitch. You talk about ultra MAGA and things that they say. That's another one. I'm like, thank you. I actually love that. I'm running with it.
I made the whole thing a spicy bitch picture of you.
So good.
And I want T-shirts that say spicy bitch.
I want T-shirts that say spicy bitch too. Let's talk about that after the show because I have some ideas.
I bet you do. They need spicy bitch hot sauce.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone. That's what we're coming out with.
Oh, really?
I want to.
I love
Yeah.
it. You need a bottle with boobs on it.
I'm working. I'm working on it. I mean, how many? Let us know in the comments, please. How many people would buy a spicy bitch hot sauce from me?
I would. Screw Aunt Jemima. We need spicy bitch syrup. I could see Sara Gonzales in the shape of a bottle.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to do it. But if it's the shape of me, I want the lactating breasts and not the regular breasts.
Well, you wouldn't even have to take the top off. You just squeeze the bottle and it just squirts right out, 2 little holes, like a little sprinkler out of the front of the bottle.
I don't know. There may be some flaws in that design. We'll see. We'll test it and
It could
see.
possibly be, but it would be fun. It'd be fun. My gosh, I love you.
I love you
very, very much.
I'm glad we worked out our husband and wife differences.
Yeah. For those of you who think we weren't, you are my best friend, and I love you.
You're mine. I love you too. Thanks for having me on.
I'm excited about doing some of this sketch comedy. If we could just get the kids cooperated, Alex and Cassidy.
Yeah, the kids.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, those kids will be how they'll be.
Well, you get some viral attention. You got to build low and slow, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a flash in the pan. That's what I'm trying to mentor these boys with.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
I think you will.
All right, we're not quite done. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Follow Sara Gonzales on YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. Also, go shopping at AmericanBeautyBySara.com and check out everything Sara is doing.
I appreciate that.
You betcha. I appreciate you. Sara Gonzales, that's with an S, TX.
Yes.
On the gram and on Twitter. I am going to be in Naples, Florida a week from tonight, May 25th. That's right, 2 shows. Myself, Bobby Sausalito is going to be opening for me. A number of other special guests will be there. Get your tickets at watchchad.com. Going to be in Belton, Texas on the 3rd of June, Bernie, Texas on the 4th of June, and Billy Bob's Texas, Fort Worth on the 5th of June. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. It has all the information you need. Don't forget to subscribe, BlazeTV.com/Chad. Use promo code CHAD to save. Tomorrow we're going to get off the rail. Special guest Isabella Riley, I think. Yep, good. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.